Alright guys, so apparently the JP version of the game looked at NA getting Imaginary Scramble and they were like, you know what, that would be really cool. We also want to play Battleship on our version of the game while we also have the Huion event still going on. And so they're like, you know what, give them the main interlude for Imaginary Scramble. Now, personally, while this event is really good, it's a pretty decent amount of fun to play and the rewards are super dummy, stupid good. I would still rather them like release the main interludes for some of the events that have free-to-plays, like Kentucky Rider could still be really good, someone like Chloe could be good, Shiki, stuff like that, but I understand that this is still not a bad event to drop, and maybe they're trying to synergize or line up with the NA version of the game a little bit. Who knows, maybe in the future we'll see like one of those Dokkan style NA and JP style events where they like get something at the same time. Maybe that's kind of a little hint that we're getting that, but I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. But we're going to talk about this in today's video. If you have not already, make sure to leave a like on the video and you subscribe to the channel for that sweet daily FGO content. Also, I stream every weekday over on my Twitch starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, usually playing FGO, so if that tickles your fancy, make sure you come check that out. Also, I have two other channels that I do upload content on pretty frequently, I would say, and if you want to watch me like cover anime content or if you want to see me cover Yu-Gi-Oh content, those are also in the description for your viewing pleasure. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and start talking about this event and kind of all of this stuff that you're going to be getting during this. So if you've kind of already finished the Huion event that's going on in the JP version of the game, then this is probably going to be the next thing that you're going to want to start hitting, because not only are just the raw materials you get from this really good, you also get a decent chunk of Saint Quartz. You're going to be able to walk away with 15 Saint Quartz for completing this event, and even if you can't read Japanese, right, which I'm assuming most people that are watching this video are primarily NA players and cannot read whatever is going on in the JP version, so you can just skip all the story, collect your 15 Saint Quartz, and be on your way. And while you're doing that, you can just collect the monstrous amount of rewards that you can get over here, because if it's your first time doing this, you get a Grail. If it's your second time, you get a lore, plus the lore that you get from completing all the exploration quests. But not even that, I mean, look at this. You get a gold cube, you get gold foes, you get apples, like, the stuff you get is just stupid dummy good. But even if you're like, come on ZTL, like, this is not a whole lot of stuff, like, really only this is what I'm getting? No, not even that, dog. Then you do the exploration battles, and every single one of these give you drops plus completion rewards. Like, you get so much for all of these. You get so many because there's like 5 sections here, and then they all drop things individually, right? And they all give you rewards. So you just walk away with a disgusting amount of material. And as someone on the JP version of the game that's kind of running low on my white prisms, right? I'm currently struggling to level up servants because I'm running out of monuments over there. I'm definitely going to appreciate something like this. Now, I don't think you should start like wasting apples and everything, just trying to rush through and finish this event. I know you might be a little concerned at like, I got to get those 15 Saint Quartz before Huion disappears. I'm very much in the same boat, but keep in mind that she's still going to be here till about the 2nd, I believe. So she'll still be here for a little bit. You have time to grind up some Saint Quartz and just use your natural AP on this event if you've already completed the other event, and then also just scoop up all of these delicious materials along the way. So that's the actual event. But there's also a summoning banner that also came with the introduction of this main interlude, I suppose. And that is basically a smashing together of the first banner and the second banner, right? They pretty much took Frank and they took Raiko, and they took Van Gogh and Nemo, smashed them together, and they just left Yang and MHXX off. So thankfully they did that, because that's not going to diverse, you know, any of my Saint Quartz that I'm trying to use to get Huion to this banner, because I might be tempted to go for MHXX on this, I'm not gonna lie, because I'm still waiting to summon for her on her solo raid up over on the NA version of the game, which actually might be today, depending on when this video goes live. It should be on Thursday, but regardless, if you're on the JP version of the game and you're like, hey man, do I summon for these servants? I'll just tell you right now that Van Gogh and Nemo are both worth the Saint Quartz if you do summon for them, but I don't think you should summon for them. And kind of hear me out here, right? We've been getting a lot of like really strong new servants over on JP, and these are servants that we actually already know what they're capable of. They've been out for a fat minute, and it almost feels like bait in a way, right? It's kind of like when they introduce a new event and they drop banner 1 and then a week later they drop the second banner to try to tempt you over there. It's like, I think you should probably, for the most part, be trying to go for those new servants, because generally the power level of those new servants is much higher than guys that we already have in the game. I mean, look at people like Rikyu that we got for the last event. Look at Ibuki, right, who is insanely powerful. Even someone like Proto Merlin is insanely valuable, even if you don't have Castori, right, because she can kind of like semi-fill in for her. All of the servants that we've been getting are just insanely powerful, and it almost feels like they're trying to bait people. And this also might be, I mean, this is kind of my philosophy for playing JP, but if you're playing JP, it's almost like you should be going for a lot of like the new servants to test them out, so you know how good they're going to be once you go on the NA version, right? Because like, what's the point of summoning for Van Gogh on JP if, you know, you're just going to summon for her on NA as well? Now, there are some exceptions, right, to, you know, that kind of philosophy that I have towards both versions of the game. Like, obviously, you want to grab someone like Castoria and like Koyenskaya, Scotty for both versions, right? Because they're kind of like, I don't want to say mandatory, but, you know, they're quote-unquote mandatory to play with their respective card types, right? So, I would hold your Saint Quartz, and either, you know, you could go for Huyan to kind of test her out for your NA version and see if you actually like her, or wait for who's going to be coming up next. Again, keep in mind, we're moving into November. New Year's is coming up really soon, and JP, you know, it's looking like they're going to get somebody pretty insane, right? Now, I personally have my money on Richard. We're supposed to be getting the Fate Strange fake, like, OVA movie thing or whatever, in December, I believe, and I think it would make sense that, you know, with the pattern of Foreigner, Saber, and everything, that they drop Richard right after that on New Year's. He's a Saber, they drop him there, and boom, he's gonna be like super busted or something like that. That's kind of my personal game theory right now, but even if it's not, you know, Richard, even if they like throw out Rasputin Alter Ego or something, I'm sure you'd rather summon for Kirei than Van Gogh, because, you know, bros before hoes, and it's Kirei, right? Like, who doesn't want Kirei? So, you know, I'll drop my like official servant reviews for Van Gogh and Nemo and everything whenever they drop on the NA version, but I would advise you, if you're playing on the JP version, to hold your Saint Quartz, unless like Nemo or Van Gogh are like your absolute favorite characters and they're people that you want on both versions. Because understandably, like, I want Morgan, I want Jaltar on both versions, I would like Gilgamesh on both versions. Like, there's just some servants that are just like your favorites, right? But for other characters, like, say, Amakusa, for me, he's a character I like, but I have him on NA. Probably won't summon for him on JP, because I really don't feel the need to, because I already have him on one version, and I've kind of already gotten, like, a grips on him and everything. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I really just don't want to see a lot of people going, like, ham on the banner, and then regretting when the next event for JP is, like, some lotto, and it just has some stupid, dummy, crazy, broken servant, given the pattern of servants that we've been getting over here on JP. And I don't want anyone to be, you know, kind of sad or feel like they regret summoning for the banner, because they're both very, very good. They're both very, very strong. And obviously, you don't have to follow my philosophy for, you know, FGO, right? You could just be like, I want to have the same accounts on NA and JP, and I just want to go ham taro like that. But, you know, if that's your prerogative, that's perfectly fine. You are free to play however you want to, you know, play, I guess. But that's just kind of my warning for a lot of people, or like kind of just advice, I suppose, as well. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Again, would love to hear guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Leave a like on the video, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will catch you guys tomorrow in the next video. Peace, late guys.